Yo, salute, man. Here, Thursday night, man. Here for some film review. Boring film review. Here to break down uh some things coming up. Obviously, the Westchester Knicks got my son Kuminga. No, they're not saying my son Kuminga. Kuminga looked good. Jalen Green didn't look so great. Obviously, be playing tomorrow. I'll be covering that tomorrow, by the way. So, guys, please stay tuned for that. If you want to follow me around 3 p.m., I believe it is, to watch that game with those guys. Also here to talk about should Derrick Rose start? Should he be going to the bench? Talk about some rumors. Bradley Beal, obviously, Oladipo's names come up. Now you're hearing about JJ Redick. But before Sim gets in here, man, I just want to cover some stuff, some film stuff, because I know I could pontificate for hours. So one of the things I saw regarding the Knicks, I really think that EP should work from the bench. Now, one thing I saw or I was seeing was that EP was a lot of his points, a good chunk of his points and effectiveness came from him attacking the basket very early on, not allowing the defense to set up, right? Not allowing the defense to kind of sit back and be able to defend his plays, right? Now, I'm just going to show a few. And it's just simple fast break plays, but it's definitely something I'm looking at. Now, another thing regarding his play is that he, when I was, and I apologize, man. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Knicks for life. Yo, please go subscribe to my man, Knicks for life, on both Instagram and YouTube, man. That's a talented brother, man, but he needs our support, bro. So go and throw him a support, man. We support this channel. We support, my man's the Knicks. We support Blind Series, support NBK, support all the channels out there, man. Support a lot of these guys who are coming in as content creators because you guys have different points of views. Even if you don't agree with them, sometimes they may bring something that you don't agree with that might break your cognitive dissonance, right? So, I learned a lot from you guys. So please go support my man, Knicks for life. Salute to Stephen Fox. Salute to Mike Morgan. Salute to Frederick. Mavs collapse for Kuminga. The Mavericks, what the hell? Yesterday I'm watching this freaking game. The Mavs, freaking Brunson, out of nowhere turned into freaking Isaiah Thomas in the fourth quarter. Salute to Hadouken Strong. Oh, we got Sim in the building. Too bad. Now we can't do the film review like I wanted. Now that Sim is here on time, finally. I'm only joking.
Hey, you can do what you got to do, man.
Oh, I'm only joking. Salute to you, Sim. How you doing, bro?
I'm good.
So, yeah, I just want to break down a few things. So, from the game, I'll go over some good and the bad. But I just want to get you over with those. And obviously, you reiterate this in your post-game and the shoot-around already. But, if you want to talk about some of the good things and bad things you saw from that Heat game.
I mean, first of all, I think the biggest thing that I took away from that Heat game is that they can play in a very intense, high-level basketball game and compete, right? That game was, in my opinion, it was a playoff intense game.
Yes, it was.
Right, playoff intense game, good defense by both teams, decent offense by both teams, and they proved that they could play on that level, even though they didn't come away with a victory in either game. I think they proved that they could play on a high level, and they just need to find a way to close games down the stretch. And I don't want to say just need. Obviously, the team needs more, but to be able to play and have a lead coming down the stretch, then you lose it on some. You lose it to a team that's been there. Made it to the championship last year, even though it was in the bubble, made it to the championship last year. They got some guys that know how to get it done. And, you were right there within a couple, angle of a bounce away from sending the game in overtime. I think it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It really does give them something to build on. They got to figure out how to close games. Somebody that can make shots, closing games, when it's necessary. Hopefully Derrick Rose can be that guy as long as they stagger his minutes the right way.
Right.
They stagger his minutes right and be able to use him down the stretch so that he can close games. Hopefully it gets to that point. And I thought that he should, have been in there down the stretch. If for him not to score the basketball, I thought that he played the best defense on Tyler Hero. All night long. He stole the ball from, he played great defense on Tyler Hero. He took the ball from him. He blocked the shot a few times. I thought he played the best defense on Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero was the guy who hit that crucial 3-point bucket.
Yeah. I definitely had that stashed up. That was definitely something I was going to point to regarding the difference between EP and Rose's game. And I was actually going to show something before, but thank you for pointing that out. And I just want to show this by EP real quick. And just the thing about EP, look, EP versus Quickly, again, is a better defender. But too many times it's either him falling asleep or he's just not quick enough to recognize the screens and understand what the team is doing. And so sometimes, again, we killed Mitchell Robinson for not getting out on pick and pops and stuff, but many times it's Elfrid Payton's fault, right? In the ice pick and roll defense, he doesn't get around the screens quick enough. So it's like Mitch has to hold fort, and by the time Mitch, is ready to get back out to the front court guy who's going to shoot the shot from the perimeter, it's already too late. So just real quick, to the point you were just talking about, crucial 3 at 1:13. Oh, you guys aren't seeing it. Oh, let me show this real quick. And salute to everybody in the chat, man. Hinton Murphy, Illmatics, man. Salute to you guys, man. Simmons Singh, salute.
Josh Byrne said, when will Payton's minutes decrease? Honestly, I don't think Payton's minutes are going to decrease. I think Thibodeau's going to go with these 3 guards. Whoever ends up starting or coming off the bench, I think he's going to go with these 3 guys. Rose is probably only going to be able to give you 23 to 25 minutes because, you got to save his body. So.
Fair enough, but and we're going to get to this because I'm going to ask you about who should start and who should so-called, come in the second rotations, who should close. But just real quick on the Elfrid Payton play, I recorded a little bit too much of it, but see Elfrid Payton's on but and he came just too late.
I mean, he's right there. I mean, to be honest with you, if you look at when Derrick Rose blocked Tyler Hero, he was right there. It's just Derrick Rose can jump higher.
Right.
Has a little bit more speed. That comes down to athletic ability because he's there. He's right there. Derrick Rose might have gotten that block though.
Yeah.
Or been more, been like right there with him. Who knows?
But just look what Elfrid Payton is. Elfrid Payton, like right there, that step, Tyler Hero's gone. And I understand, look, he so-called recovered, but in this play, and I think down the stretch, it was Butler and Hero going back and forth, right? Mm-hmm. That they've been running these type of plays. Him come up this, because I think Hero hit a few of these. Duncan Robinson was obviously off. So it was going to be a Hero Butler game, and then Bam, obviously with the BS fouls that come from. But right here, it's just Elfrid Payton, again, a step too slow, and then you gave him enough space. People were thinking, he's right there, but it's like when you're a shooter, as long as you get into your spot cleanly, and you get that lift, it's a done deal for a good shooter like Tyler Hero. So and TL says, yeah, Legion, that's why we need Suggs, man. Yes, I would. Oh my gosh, I would definitely love Suggs, man. Suggs is an absolute beast. And on defense, people think that Suggs this guy on defense, Suggs, is an agitator. I don't know if you watch enough of him, Sim, but I will.
I'm not even paying attention to it, man. I'm focusing on just what we're doing right now with the team. I'm not even focusing. I watch some college basketball and I watch some of the G League Ignite, but I'm not like looking like, okay, the Knicks got to go get this guy. I'm just I'm just looking at and seeing what they're doing because I'm going to be honest with you. I think this regime is looking to say, I don't think they're looking to mortgage the future, but I don't think they're looking at the draft. And saying we're going to find our star in the draft. I think that they believe that they can put together a very competitive team, and I think they're going to look at the next 2 weeks and see what they're looking like going into the All-Star break, and if they're 3 games above or below 500, they're going to try to make a push towards the playoffs. I don't think they're going to mortgage the team to do that, but I don't think they're going to be looking and saying, we're just going to throw the season away and try to get a top draft pick. I don't think they're about that at all. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think that's even in their DNA, bro. I don't think they're about that at all.
I think it might be somewhat of the opposite. They're looking at this draft. I think there was a soft dish tank having EP here. I think Tom Thibodeau's kind of overachieved, so now they're in this weird spot. And again, they have guys like Johnny Bryant, they have guys like Kenny Payne, just in case Tom Thibodeau doesn't work out. But I think that they may be looking at this like they want to be a coven for freaking UK and CAA players. Period. Whether you draft.
What is a softish take? To me, you're either tanking or you're not. What's a softish tank? You're either gonna tank or you're not.
A softish tank is where you tank by not having or not going or gunning for certain players, right? That I mean, come on, you went into this free agency, and granted, guys said no to the Knicks. There are a bunch of guys, but there were even scrap heap guys better than a guy like EP, right? You don't want to iterate to the crowd or to the audience that we're tanking this year, right? And in most sports, you don't want to do it. Unless football is a little bit more acceptable, but you don't want to iterate that. But hey, look, we're stuck. We're not going to be able to get the so-called Levines or Bradley Bills unless we mortgage everything. And when we do that, it may just be a lateral move for those players. So let's try to see what we can do with an EP, sign him to whatever type of deal, the 1 year, $5 million deal, no trade clause, and let's see what we get. But I think that they have their eyes fastened on, and I think they might. And again, I think it might be hard to trade up into the top 5 or 6 or 7, but they may package some of those seconds to try to boost up that first, the later first.
Well, I mean, doing that in the draft, if you're in the draft and you try to use some of those seconds to move up your stock, of course I could see that, but I don't think with the whole thing with Elfrid Payton and him signing back, apparently that was the plan before they even went into free agency.
That sounds like trash. That is, first of all, the front office don't tell us nothing. So whatever they say,
no, that came from Elfrid Payton.
Of course he's going to say that. Of course,
right? I mean, think about it. If he agreed, they asked him, and they said that that was the plan before we even went into free agency, that I was going to come back to the team. Even if they signed somebody else, that doesn't mean he had to come back as the starter. But who else was you bringing in?
I'd rather bring a Jeff Teague over freaking
Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague wasn't going to do anything more. And come at a higher price. I think the whole point was, okay, he can be serviceable, and we can still preserve our cap space for moves that we want to make, because they want to be able to make a splash. I don't want to say a splash, but because they want to preserve that cap space so that they can be in the position that they're in now. If somebody shakes loose, they have enough room to do certain things. Derrick Rose, they thought that they were going to have Derrick Rose before the season started. They were looking at it in the offseason. I don't think the whole thing with Elfrid Payton was by mistake. Now,
we're bringing him back there, but the poor planning the seemingly poor construction at the point guard position by the Knicks this season. And again, I'm not one of these people saying to trade for Westbrook. I don't think that was going to happen. Guys like him, CP3, Ronald didn't want to come here. But there probably could have been better guys to trade for. A guy like Ricky Rubio, when he came off when he got traded to OKC, he was probably available to be had. And Ricky Rubio, I'm sorry, is better than freaking Elfrid Payton. I'm not saying Ricky Rubio is a world beater, but
have you went and seen what he's doing right now?
Before the season, I'll still put his production.
But he is not playing well at all, and he's getting way more money than Elfrid Payton. That's the whole thing that we got to get together: the money and the production.
How much is he getting paid from that Suns deal?
It's like $17 million a year or something.
He has one more year in his contract? Hold up. Rubio contract.
Yeah, he's making like $17 million a year or something like that. Way more than Elfrid Payton, though.
Interesting to load up. 72 million. Yeah, he's a free. 2022.
Yeah.
I'd bring him on. I bring him over Elfrid Payton. I'm sorry, dude. He may be not having a good season this year.
$17 million a year
for 2 years.
You was gonna bring Ricky Rubio on.
It's not like I'm not giving up first round, but obviously you have to probably trade a player in a second. But again, if the cost is too much, obviously. But I'm just saying there are probably better options to be traded for versus Elfrid Payton. I'm just saying, even a guy. I mean, it's tough because the Lakers probably had a deal on him, but a guy like Schroeder. Granted, he's more of an attacking guard, but I don't know.
But the thing is, they may have. I mean, Ricky Rubio this year is averaging 6.1 points per game. He's averaging 6 assists. He's shooting 21% from three, 35% from the field. You know,
don't skip over that 6 assists. You try to say the 6 assists real quick.
I'm saying he's getting the 6 assists, but he's not doing much more than he's not doing, and he's doing it on a worse team, like a terrible team right now.
Yeah, but wouldn't that would feed into the narrative that if he was on a so-called better team, his stats would be better? Thank you for proving the point. Yeah, if he was on the Knicks, his stats would probably be better.
Why?
If he's doing it on a terrible team where guys suck and they can't freaking finish, and there's no game. I don't know. I guess obviously Anthony Edwards is starting to come on the past few weeks, but that kid was struggling. Freaking Jared Culver wasn't doing anything to start off the season. You know, what I mean, like you probably on a team where it's like the coach probably doesn't know what the hell he's doing either. You're probably going to put up worse stats versus if you came to a team where they have a carved out role for you. He probably be a lot better than
$17 million a year.
Can shoot. Like what are we talking? Overpaying can shoot.
That's what I'm saying. That's why am I going to pay him $17 million a year to come in and give us almost the same production?
I'm just saying he was a guy that,
you know what I'm saying? To me, it doesn't make any sense to sign him for 2 years and tie up your cap space with him when you can have the maneuverability to make other moves. And because I don't think he was going to get you any more wins.
Don't we have a crap load of cap space though? Juice Randle knocks at
but I'm saying if you would have traded for him, we wouldn't have this $15 million in cap space right now. We'd have $5 million left over.
How much we have? Who signed up? So Randle signed up what? 18, 20? What is it? Randle, then Knox at 8, I think.
No, what I'm saying right now, if you brought in Ricky Rubio,
right,
we have $15 million in cap space free that we can use. If you brought in Ricky Rubio, that goes down to 10 or something like that, right? I'm sorry, not 10. That goes down to 5. You know what I'm saying? Because you're spending $10 million more to get Ricky Rubio rather than having Elfrid Payton, who you can. I mean, it's $5 million. If you want to waive him, you can waive him easy. You're not losing anything. You can replace him. You can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? I think that I wasn't Ricky Rubio.
So you're talking about going into for a coach who's 62 years old. And even if your so-called initial plan wasn't to so-called start Elfrid Payton, I mean, the way the Knicks went about it in the offseason just seemed like there really was no plan to really get a guy, whether it be Ricky Rubio, whoever it may be.
I think that their plan was Fred VanVleet, Gordon Hayward.
Stop. Fred VanVleet.
Hold up. Are you telling me that the Knicks did not have that in their mind? I'm not talking about if he was leaving or not. I'm saying that the Knicks plan was either Fred VanVleet, Gordon Hayward. Fred VanVleet said, I'm not leaving Toronto. They didn't want to pay the money for Gordon Hayward, and they made smart moves in that. They was like, no, we're not going to pay him that amount of money. So this is what we're going to do. And we're going to bring these guys in. I think they didn't want to pay 2 years, $15 million for Rondo. That's what he was demanding.
They say they didn't want to come
in. Market were right. They didn't want to pay that. Jeff Teague. I'm not even concerned about Jeff Teague. I've never even really was a big fan of Jeff Teague's game, and I don't know what he got with Boston. I think he got 2 years with Boston. Everything that they did was $5 million for 1 year so that they can preserve that flexibility, and I think it was the right move so that they can have the flexibility to make moves. And I don't think that they're looking at. But
then don't they have to
basketball games, man?
Okay, but then wouldn't they have to? I'm just confused. Like you'd have to overpay for say that next guy, that so-called star. I mean, obviously you bring in a guy like Derrick Rose, you can make those type of moves, but you can only make so many of those moves, right? Like we fleeced the Pistons, which was beautiful, but if you're talking about keeping cap space open, it sounds like they're trying to bring, from your point of view, they're trying to bring in someone of a so-called high caliber. So you go into this year and you basically just throw away all those picks. because we don't have the players to really match up and say, hey, we'll give you such and such picks, players and one pick versus we give you such a play. We have to give you 3 picks because these players aren't that good. I don't know. It just seems for a year where everybody is saying scouts, and it's not just scouts, and everybody's saying this draft is disgusting or strong. It just, I don't know. It just seems
everybody said this draft was going to have terrible players in it, and the players are not turning out to be terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Anthony Edwards is coming on.
I mean, that's going to be, that's going to be their perspective. The draft that's really going to be very deep is 2023.
The high school draft, but this one is the one that was being analyzed for the past several years, regards to the top talent. I just feel like I don't think Leon Rose and Co. Even though Tom Thibodeau is a so-called win now coach, I don't know what that means, but with regards to him, it's just weird. It just doesn't sound right that they would give up assets, especially in this draft, when literally it's so-called free talent. And obviously, I'm not saying to tank or anything. I'm just saying that free talent, in the sense of there's so much talent in this draft that no matter where you fall, if you're in the lottery, in the decent parts of the lottery, you could get something.
Right, but they have 2 in this draft. They have their own next year. They have 2 of them in 2023. And then they got all those second-round draft picks in 2023. You're not signing all of those players.
No. Right.
So they clearly have set themselves up to say, we think we can make a move somewhere.
If you're trading now, though, you are trading picks from this draft, or at least a pick from this draft, and they probably want
at least one. Yeah, you might be trading one. You might be trading one from this draft, and then maybe one from 2022, or maybe one from 2023 plus those 2023 second round.
You only could do every other year, so it'd be 2020.
Well, if they gave up Dallas's pick, they can do theirs next year if they wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Right, so they can do Dallas 2021 and then New York Knicks 2022.
Okay. Oh, crap. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll talk about it because everybody, Bradley Beal. By the way, Bradley Beal's not playing tomorrow because he needs rest. That's the guy that everybody wants on the team, a guy who needs his rest. It could be because theoretically you say, they're trying to preserve him because he might be available for a trade, but I don't know. That just bugs me. Zach LaVine played both games, and he's also I don't know if he's on a training block, but
you never know what the situation is there. Who knows? I mean, Derrick Rose wasn't playing for 3 weeks too, and because he didn't want to be there. I'm not saying that's the case with Bradley Beal, but
I don't know. When I saw Bradley Beal basically giving up on plays, and they were showing him like sitting on a bench, like talking trash to his own team, and everybody just had their head down. I'm just like, I don't know if he's such a malcontent. And he chose to sign there 2 years ago. He could have left. He
wanted the money.
I understand, but it's like
shoot.
You would have made that money probably back in endorsements easily if you want to go to a playoff bound team and you were the guy. It's just, I don't know. These guys, some of their foresight is just weird. It's like you put yourself.
I mean, the thing is in the NBA, as opposed to that endorsement money, in the NBA, that money is guaranteed. No matter what happens, it's guaranteed. That endorsement money, there's different stipulations that come along with the contracts, this and that. That $30 million, $37 million, $35 million, whatever he's making. This year is 28 points, something I think. But what he's making for the next 2 years, that's guaranteed money. He can break both of his legs and come in a wheelchair.
That's true, but when you're on a team that you sign for, you sign for money, but stop complaining. Like, don't give up on plays like you did. You know what I mean? Like, because your team is losing, like, you find a way to pull your team up. Stop being this malcontent. You picked the contract. The only person to blame is yourself. You want to pick the money instead of winning? Okay, you deal with it. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
The money had anything to go into them winning, to be honest with you.
Wait, say it again?
His contract. I don't think the money of his contract had anything to do, really goes into them winning and their ability to get players. They had ability to get players and make moves. They just had terrible, terrible management. I mean, you look just 2 years ago, they were in the playoffs.
Yeah, but he knows that, though. He knows that team was Garbaggio, man. It's like you signed the contract. You know what I mean? I just feel like when you sign the contract, I'm not talking about you're a slave to the game. I'm saying, look, you have an obligation to, and it behooves you if you want people to like Zach LaVine's attitude when they were down by that game that we were actually up by like 20 something, and they were getting back, even though it wasn't like that. It wasn't that bad yet to where it was like, oh crap, they came back. It was, I think, down by like 18. He dunked the ball. I think he dunked it off ball, and he was like, he did a, like like I'm like, this dude he's down by 18, and he's still trying to show us up. And obviously they got back. We won the game, but that's the type of thing that is like, I would feel comfortable trading that extra pick for the guy, because even when his team is trash, he's working that hard. You know what I mean? To elevate his team versus Bradley Beal.
You don't think he's trying to work hard? I mean, he's had games where he's dropped 40, 45, and they've lost. I mean, you've got to work that.
I feel you on that. But it's like when you do that, when you're showing up your team, and I don't think it was a national game. I forgot which game it was. But it's like when you're showing your team in public, you know what I mean? I don't care what you do behind the closed doors. But it's like, dogs, come on, man. Like, what is all this? You're showing up, you're talking trash to your team in the timeouts, you're taking off plays, you're not running back, you're just standing in the corner, pouting. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, that just shows badly on your part. 30 points, you're a talented player, so why pull that off?
I mean, I get it. Things happen and people don't always make the best decisions. I think Bradley Beal is a talent that if he's out there. Last year, after he got the contract, I was like, nah, because, of where we were. We're a totally different team, in my opinion, this year. And I think if you can have a chance to get Bradley Beal, I think that really boosts this team. I really do.
You're giving up an RJ or Randall plus 3 picks. Is it worth it?
I don't know if that's what you're giving up. I mean, obviously everything's going to have its limit, and if I'm the Knicks, I'm going into negotiations with a limit because I'm trying to add Bradley Beal to RJ and Randall.
Right. But what do you think that you get for? What do you think you have to give up? Because again, we've drafted so bad in the past. We don't even have another player where you can say, "I'll give you a Buddy Hield. I'll give you a freaking. I'll even give you, say, a Halliburton. Or one of just a talented player you drafted. A few years prior, you could say, hey, he's a talented player, he may not fit our vision or whatever. We don't have an SGA. We don't have you know what I mean? So you're going to have to give up a lot for Bradley Beal because Kevin Knox and DSG, Frank ain't going to cut it.
You might, honestly, for me, with Bradley Beal, besides Randall and RJ, I'd say take your pick.
Right, but then you're probably still giving up 3 picks.
I'll give up the picks.
What picks you giving up?
I mean, we'd have to look at the picks again. I'd keep one in 2021. Mm-hmm. Right. So I try to keep ours in 2021.
Right.
So that we could move one in 2022. And then, I'd give them the Dallas one in 2023. I try to keep ours in 2023 because the Dallas one in 2023, if we don't get it, if Dallas is terrible in 2023, if they're not good, they're going to look to tank so that they can get into the lottery because it's protected so that they can keep that pick. And then if we don't get it by 2024, we end up getting 2 second-round draft picks from Dallas. Right? So I try to give them the Dallas pick and keep ours in 2023. Right, because we're only getting the Dallas pick if it falls outside of the top 10 or wherever it's protected.
I think top 5 or 10. I think it's 5. It might be 5. I can't remember. So those are 3 picks. And then what play are you giving up?
Like I said, I'd say I'm keeping RJ. I'm keeping Randall.
No way you could keep RJ and Randall. I need a guard that I need a guard or your best player.
What I'm saying to them is I'm keeping RJ and I'm keeping Randall. You can take your pick and you got these draft picks and we got some second round draft picks. That's what I'm saying to them. And if it don't happen, then it don't happen. But that's what I put out on the table.
Yeah, that's just not happening. There's no way you give up. I mean, the picks are nice. Don't get me wrong.
It may not happen. That's cool with me. But that's what I'm putting on the table. That's what I'm saying to them.
But I asked you, what do you think would work? What do you think would work?
I mean, what would work? I don't know what would work. I don't know what their plan would be, right? But what I'm saying is, if I'm the Knicks, this is what I'm doing. The Wizards can hang up all they want. I'm saying this is what I'm doing. That's fine if they hang up. Okay, I'm saying this is what I'm doing because I'm trying to build my team a certain way. Right. So I'm going in with an idea. Okay, this is how I want to build my team. So this is what I'm going to say. And I gave them the pick of the other players they want. and we can make it work with some draft picks, or maybe we could try to find another team to get involved. But I'm trying to keep RJ and Randall. If it don't work, it don't work. I'll go elsewhere and try to do it. That's how you go into it. You know what your limit is, right? That's how you go into it.
I understand. I understand where you come from. Can you please just give me a hypothetical that you think would work?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I would go into with. And if they say no, that's fine. That's okay with me.
I'm not disagreeing. I heard. I'm just saying because people keep saying I'm just saying from my point of view, I think you got to give up 3 picks and you got to give up RJ to replace that so-called guard or whatever in Bradley Beal, or you give me your best player. And they already got a guy in Roy Hachimura. Obviously, Randall's better.
I mean, they may not. Maybe they want to start from a clean. It depends on what they want to do. They may want to start from a very clean slate. I mean, everyone's saying, hold on. Everyone's telling us, it's cool that people can laugh. I'm saying what I would offer. And if they say no, that's cool. I don't care if they say no.
No, but no one's coming out. They're just saying no. That's what they're saying.
But what I'm saying is, why is it that I can't have what I would put on the table? And if they say no, that's cool with that.
No, that's fine. That's 1,000% fine.
I understand that.
I'm just saying that people are saying click. I'm trying to get to.
Okay, that's cool. They can say click. Okay, I'm cool with that. They can say click, but we don't know what the situation could be. Everyone's saying that that this draft is ballyhooed, right? That this all-stars coming out the draft, right? So then why? So then if there's these all-stars coming out the draft, why they wouldn't be happy with getting an all-star out the draft, along with 1 or 2 of your younger, Obi and a Quickly?
Man, look at what did CP3 go for? He went for SGA. I think 4 swaps, and then was it 2 picks? Let me look up. Sorry, I apologize. I forgot what the CP3.
I mean, and if they don't, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what I'm going into it with. I'm going into it with a plan, and that's how I'm going into it.
So the OKC, they traded for Paul. They gave up Abdul Nader, so that was probably like a Knox. The Thunder received Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, Ty Jerome, Jalen Lecque, and the 2022 first-round pick from the Suns. I thought they had swaps in here. So I guess Kelly Oubre, we don't have that. Ricky Rubio, at the time, Rubio, I think, had a decent year with the Suns. But I don't remember exactly. And the 2022 first-round pick for CP3. Bradley Beal is definitely going to command way more than that. Probably more picks, and then we don't have a Rubio. So definitely another pick. And then a guy like Obi, just because he's unproven, I mean, he may be a filler. Maybe an Obi and RJ, but yeah, man, I think look, we overachieved, which I'm happy that we did, but I think we gotta look at the big picture, because I think even if a guy like Bill comes here, is Bill going to get you to the Eastern Conference Finals? Is he that guy to take you over the hump with what you'd have left? Just say some you give up an RJ, right? Mm-hmm. I know you're gonna keep RJ. I'm not giving up RJ. We give him up. Right, so you have RJ Randall, EP Bullock, and Mitch, and then you have say you get away with no, they probably went quickly. Say you give up quickly, so you have Obi, Derrick Rose, and Burks. Is that team getting you to the Eastern Conference Finals?
No.
So I'm just like the cost.
No, that's why I'm trying to keep Randall and RJ, even if I have to try to find a way to get a third team involved and do some other things, or find other ways. That's why I'm trying to keep Randall and RJ, because I think with Randall and RJ and Beal, does it happen this year? Maybe not, but I think you're really building something with a strong nucleus, and you still maybe have. Obviously you got RJ, you have you'll have a draft pick somewhere coming in, probably in 2021. I think you have a chance. If not, then I'm waiting to try to get Zach. I mean, Zach's my first choice, honestly.
Okay.
because of his contract.
I like Zach on this team. I think he's more moldable. I think he sounds crazy because everybody, we need a guard. Yes, we need a guard. Bradley Beal is a stupid talent. He's a ridiculously good player, but I think Zach LaVine, I just feel like Zach LaVine would have a better fit. And we got Anthony Dunbar probably calling. Hold on. Oh, Lord. This guy's gonna. Let me see. Oh, Anthony Dunbar. Of course. Why?
Of course.
Your call. It's a Legion of Knicks podcast here with Sim of NBK. Who am I speaking to?
You're the number one Knicks fan. You know that. You already know what it is.
Oh, hello, Anthony Dunbar. How are you doing?
What's going on, fellas? Sim.
What's going on, man?
Good family.
Chilling, man.
I'm listening to the talking and the potential trades and all of that, right? And I remember 2 weeks ago I called on your show, and some of the names you guys are talking about, I remember, literally begging Knicks fans to want to be down with that process of going forward and making moves for this season, right? You and your little flunkies, whatever. No, we can't do that. Can't possibly do that. They was just darn near fighting on Sim's show a couple of nights ago because cats are talking about, not only Bradley Beal, but Drummond, right? You have to go forward with this situation here. And Sim, I know you wouldn't want to give up RJ if it came down to it. I'm giving up RJ in that trade.
But then, if you are, to me, you make yourself a little, you get better. But I don't think you set yourself up for the future. So I think it would be a mistake. If you got to give up RJ, I think you turn away and you look elsewhere. You look at Zach LaVine, if that's going to happen. Because I think if it's Beal and Randall, yes, you get better, but I think you still looking for a third guy.
And Drummond and Beal
make the play.
Drummond and Beal, like, do you know how much we have to give up for both Drummond and Beal?
Well, I think because we were having the discussion about Andre Drummond, if he were bought out, if you brought in, let's say the Knicks made a trade for, say, Zach LaVine, and Andre Drummond was bought out, do you try to go get Andre Drummond? To me, it's all day long. If he's bought out,
Drummond is bought out of his contract
by the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. If you're not trading, of course.
Right. Yeah,
easily.
I'm not trading for him. There were some people that were like, we trade for him, but I was like, nah, I don't think you trade for him.
No.
But if he's bought out,
he wants to go to the. I'm sorry, I mean, cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's probably going to end up with the Nets. But I'm saying if you brought in a wing player and all of a sudden it looks like you could move up to be a top 4 team, which you're only 3 games out of right now, you could be a top 4 team and he's waived or bought out, I think you go get Andre Drummond all day.
And salute to Ralph, man. I like his suggestion. I like Will Barton a lot. I'm not sure. Now this year he's averaging about 29.5 minutes play. I think he's coming off the bench. I do like Will Barton. I've liked Will Barton for some time, but I would see what the Denver Nuggets would want. But I think that they like that offense. He's probably not going anywhere. He's a guy off a bench. And they're probably trying to make a deep run this year, so they're probably not going to give him up. But I definitely do like Will Barton. But yeah, Anthony, it's just, look, with the trades, again, this is the thing with us Knicks fans, man. We got, as soon as Melo was traded here, for again, Melo came here, when he got traded here, did we make the Eastern Conference Finals at least that first year? No. He could have came in the offseason, right? And again, Bill and Melo are a little bit different. But we gave up so much, and then the story was, we never got a point guard, and, we were supposed to get CP3 and that stuff. It's like, why pull the trigger on a player like that and give up that much when you're not going to win? You're not closer to your end goal that year. Like, you know what I mean? Why not just continue to build out this team for this year, draft the players in this next draft, and then next year you get closer. You might have a guy like Obi or who it may be like, yo, we've developed him a little bit, but we could put him package him in a deal for such and such player. When we have other foundational pieces to kind of play to fill out the spot that that obviously you're vacating by trading an Obi or even trading a quickly or who it may be, or RJ even, right? Why do it now when you have to give up so much? And literally, like Sim said, I think he's alluding to, it might just be more so of a lateral move, right? If I bring Bill here, but I give all these draft picks and I give up quickly an RJ, Bill may not be playing with that much more better of a team. It's going to be Bill and Randall. That's not getting you to the Eastern Conference Finals. It may not even get you past the first round.
I don't think that's getting you anywhere with just Bill and Randall. I'll be honest. I don't think getting those two, just having those two and giving up everybody is just getting you much farther.
One thing I'll say, Anthony, you caught me when I was drinking with Ghetto when I said I'll consider the Bill deal, but I'm against giving up all those picks again, man. Because I was like, hold up, did I just say I give up? Because Joe came on talking about, Joe Madden came on, and I was like, oh man, but he caught me, and I was like, nah,
The thing is though, you can give up 3 draft picks,
it's not happening,
and second round draft picks, and still have draft picks. That's the thing. I don't think you can give it to something in 2021, 2022, 2023, plus all those 2023 second round draft picks, and the Knicks still have draft picks.
Yes.
Because they'll have their 2021. They won't have 2022, but they'll have their 2023.
You're going to hold on to all of these draft picks for what?
Anthony, did you just hear what I said? I said you go into this next year because I don't think we're that much close. I think we're overachieving right now, right? Go into next year, you draft your players. If you have 2 firsts, you draft those so-called foundational, and they may be up for draft next year, but I'm saying you have more talent. You go in next season, and if it's for Levine, if it's for Bill, whoever you like, then you package more players and send them over. You have more play. You at least have some type of foundational players left.
But let me ask this though: are those draft picks?
These 3 things right here. 1, we're a game or 2 up or down from 3 or 4 or 5 spots, right? That's 1. 2, you're not promised that a Bradley Beal will be available to you and Zach LaVine will be available to you next year. Look what happened. Look what happened during this last free agency or before the free agent period. Everybody signed up. You cannot take for granted that this type of a player. What? Do you realize how many points Bradley Beal is averaging right now? Let me ask you.
It doesn't matter how much he's averaging. They're 6 and 15. Hold on. Let me say something real quick because you guys like to play NBA 2K with some players. Bradley Beal's averaging 30-some points on a team that's 6 and 15.
Okay.
You're not. No. Hold up. Everybody likes to think that, if I had that 30 points in the Knicks, we'd be even better. It's like dogs. He's 6 and 15 on a team that has Westbrook. Obviously, Thomas Bryant went out with an injury, but also Roy Hachimura. Now, I'm not saying that's world beaters, and Danny Avdija. I'm not saying he's a world beater, but there's some talent, and they're 6 and 15 in the East. With Bradley Beal averaging 30, there's just like you said with the draft. There's nothing promised that Bradley Beal's production, by itself, that he will fit with the team, that he'll complement the team. That you won't have a malcontent, a player who's like, I don't want to dip my stats from 30. And granted, he's scoring 30, I think, a lot because that team just they didn't have talent last year. Guys like Bertans are underachieving. But we're making it seem like he comes here and he's that guy. We traded for Melo. We traded for Melo. How many times did we go to the Eastern Conference Finals with Melo?
But that's not all just not Melo. Everything is not all just not one player. I mean, because you can look at Anthony Davis. He was in the same situation.
Hold up, sir. I don't think Anthony can hear you. Sorry. My bootleg sound system. Sorry about that, sir. Yeah, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, people. I'm not saying you're like 100% incorrect, but you are incorrect because now you have a chance. You have a possible chance. You know what you've been saying to me when I ask you these questions? You say, this is not that management. Okay, this is not that management. Okay, and maybe this management wants to make some moves to go forward to try and win this year. What is wrong with that?
No, but because you know why? Management's supposed to be a lot more long-sighted than we are. Because people say you have a chance this year. You also, granted, I don't disagree with the talent of these players in isolation, but you also have a chance in this draft to draft 2 foundational players that will turn you into the Nuggets. Like people keep talking about, we may end up with, but Bradley Beal may come here and be a bust of an acquisition. And we might be in the same situation like we were with Melo. And again, I'm not blaming everything on Melo, but Melo at the time was regarded, when he came from the Nuggets, he was regarded as a superstar. When I think of superstar, I'm thinking of a guy, we're going to the playoffs, the perennial playoff team. We're going to get to the East, to that conference finals at least 50% of the time that guy's here because he's that transcendent of a player. When you say superstar, and what was the issue? And I'm not blaming everything on Melo. He needed a point guard. But when we made that trade, it did not go as to plan. Versus if Melo just waited one half of a season, he would have had, and I'm not saying that those guys were world beaters, but I think the sum was greater than the parts with the guys who went up. Because remember, everybody's talking about the playoffs this year. Remember, that Knicks team in the year before, the year they traded for Melo, they were hovering around the 7, 8, and then the 9th spot. They were going back and forth. That year, the Knicks at one point was second in offensive efficiency. There was something there, and we watched all that away from Melo. And those Melo years, I know people love Melo.
And they still made the playoffs that year.
Guys, because
They still made the playoffs that year. I mean,
it's worth a bucket of chicken and some French fries.
You again.
let me get it for just a second.
Hold on, Anthony,
for just a second.
You're gonna make that trade every week.
No, I wouldn't. I didn't like the trade.
26 years old. Carmelo Anthony at that time was 26 years old.
What's your point? What's the point?
You guys are upset because of what eventually happened. Okay, I understand that, but that's not his fault. Like you
Whoa.
pieces around.
No, but hold up. That's the whole. Let Sim go. Sim want to say something. My bad.
But what I'm saying, they had the chance. They had the chance when Melo was here, like to really improve this team. Right? Because no. They made a vital mistake when they amnestied Chauncey Billups and signed Tyson Chandler. When Chris Paul was on the way, Chris Paul was not coming if Melo was not there, and Chris Paul was on the way. They made a huge mistake. They amnestied Chauncey Billups and brought in Tyson Chandler, and then they went with whoever at the point guard spot. If you would have not amnestied Chauncey Billups, brought in Chris Paul, Tyson Chandler probably still would have came the following year if you really wanted Tyson Chandler at that center spot. Now your team is totally different, and I guarantee you they go at least to the Eastern Conference Finals.
But Sim, here it is. You don't make the trade. You have those players, right? Until you have the positioning to get the so-called CP3, right? Because what you're saying is that literally one stupid mistake or two, whatever, one and a half, whatever, with not, the whole one mistake led to a superstar not seeing at least part of the glory, the path to glory, versus you go into literally the next, that summer, half of a season. I don't care about those players. I'm not getting to the champions. I'm not getting Eastern Conference Finals. That year, I don't care about those players that he lost. And Grizz, he had a nice performance against the Celtics. With Jared Jeffries was a bum, couldn't freaking make a layup. But you go into the next summer with all those players around you. Now you can choose, hey, Melo, who do you want? Who do you think can work with you? Even as just bit role players. Even having a Felton, even having a Sarmai, a Gallinari who's coming on, he could use a 3-point shooter. A guy like Wilson Chandler, who's great, who's really good coming off the bench, right? As a bench scorer, you go in with more leverage, so you have more space, more margin of error to make mistakes. Okay, we didn't MC this guy, but hey, Felton averaged 17 and 7 that year with Stoudemire. Maybe it's working with him. I'm not saying Felton's better than CP3. I'm just saying you have more margin of error to make mistakes when you have more.
But Melo was signing a contract. Melo was signing an extension before he went to. He wasn't going to free agency. They were going into a lockout. He was making sure that his money was grandfathered in. So he was getting traded to somebody to make sure that he got his money.
All right.
So you were either going to trade for him or you were going to miss out because he was going somewhere to make sure his money was grandfathered in.
And for a player that short-sighted,
that's short-sighted on his part.
He said it himself on ESPN. He made a mistake. He said it himself.
Bro, if that was you, I guarantee you wanted your money grandfathered in because you had no idea what was going on with the lockout.
Right, but it's weird how LeBron
and knowing how a lockout can change things.
Right.
Because remember something. Every time they go into a lockout, the players get less. Every time they've gone into a lockout,
did they get more? Did they get more of the TV contracts?
The players get less.
Wait, did they get? Did they get more?
You can't look at him and say, "Well, he can't."
Whoa! That's not true. Didn't they get higher TV revenues percentage? Was it that year or the next CBA? The one where that was the next CBA where Conley signed that.
It was going into that off season. It was going into that.
Well, put it like this. Melo alluded to the mistake he made because there was a so-called rumor that was true that LeBron James was trying to form a three-man team with him and Dwayne Wade. And granted, he took his money. That's on him.
But I'm saying, but that was before the Knicks. That was before the Knicks. But now he's in the situation with the Knicks, right? That was before the Knicks. That was way before then. So now he's in this situation, and he's like, okay, do I get my contract grandfathered in, or do I wait and see what happens with the CBA? I want my money grandfathered in to make sure my money is guaranteed.
Why can't we give credit? And I don't even like this play like that, but I give credit to a guy, LeBron James, those guys who they did well with their endorsement run. They're like, hey, if this CBA, whatever happens like this, blah, blah, we're good. And they even took less money when they did that.
Because everybody has different priorities.
Okay, well, then Melo has his priorities.
No, but what I'm saying,
their own priorities. I'm not giving
exactly. So what I'm saying is, Melo had his priority. The Knicks knew that Melo had his priority. They wanted to get a player that was going to try to boost them and make them better. So they went out and they got him because they knew that he was going to trade. He was going to get traded somewhere to make sure that his money was grandfathered in. And I don't put everything on that trade because they made mistakes going forward.
All I'm saying is that when you don't,
I mean, those guys did nothing. Those guys didn't do much in the league.
Here's what you're not seeing, G-Mo.
I see it all.
As presently constituted with this last edition here with Rose, they're probably going to win. They may be like 4 to 5 games away from 500. That means you're not finishing in the top 10 or 12 anyway.
Okay.
So now you're going to have to rely on your drafting skills yet again.
Whoa. New regime.
Outside, and more than likely, it's going to be a young guy that needs more years to develop.
Do you know the top players in this draft? Okay, no. Until no. You can't do that, Anthony. Until you do your research on the players in this draft, please don't sit here and say that these guys.
Till the season is over, I am not.
Do it
now. I mean, listen. I mean, we've seen so many times, and the draft is not guaranteed. I'm sorry.
Thinking about that nonsense.
The draft flunkies, but y'all the same guys.
This year.
Y'all the same guys who are praised. Y'all saying that we have to sit here and rely on the front office draft and abilities, but y'all literally praising Emmanuel Quickly, who this new regime picked and is looking like one of the biggest steals in this, probably the biggest steal in this draft.
We also picked Obi, who was projected to be the most NBA ready player to come into the draft, and he's not producing that NBA ready.
He's also playing in the place of a guy who's shown vast improvement versus last year. A guy that now I don't know what the front office thinking per se with Randall, but it's probably looking like it could have probably went from we're gonna try to gussy him up to trade him to we got to pick up his contract, and then we think about that next year because he's basically the offense. So Obi's in a weird place where literally the place where he's supposed to be getting minutes is being taken up by the team's best player. And in Spurs, the Spurs like 10 minutes here, 8 minutes there. But Obi has shown, okay, there's something there. There's some talent there. He's just
there's some talent there. But why? The reasons that he usually gets taken off the floor, right? It's not like him and Randall's not on the floor at the same time. The reasons he's getting taken off the floor is because defensively he's not getting it done, right? Or he's not strong enough to post up a score. I mean, he has a hard time posting up guards to score the basketball. You know what I'm saying? So these are the reasons why he's getting taken out. Not if he was playing good defense, he was scoring the basketball, then Tom Thibodeau would probably keep that rotation of, okay, I brought you out, I put you in at 6 minutes, 4 minutes left in the first quarter, bring you out at 6 minutes left in the second quarter, and put Randall back in, and then the same type of rotation in the fourth quarter where he'd get more minutes, but he's not getting it done. Everyone looks at these players when they're in college, and granted, they look good, they're this, that, and the other thing. Everything changes when they get in the NBA.
I agree, but that's not I don't know. Look, I have my qualms with Obi. I see what Tom Thibodeau's trying to do. I see it for the better. Take him out for defensive discipline reasons at times. And granted, he came into college having those issues, right? Quickly is a little bit more ready-made as a combo guard, just because he's doing a lot of stuff he's doing now. That was a lot of his main focus in college, playing alongside Tyrese Maxey, right? So again, I see Tyron Obi, and I wasn't even my guy was Devin Vassell. But again, we sit and try to make it seem like the front office can't make good picks, and literally their second pick was a guy who's literally, I wouldn't say he's lining up the league, but he's literally one of the one of the top, or one of the biggest steals in a draft. And then we're going into a draft that is discernibly, I know people say we don't know, but going into his draft, people saying that this draft was not that good. And like Sim said, some players are actually starting to look good. This next draft, where you see and people are like, oh, you draft flunkies. But it's like some of you guys are flunkies looking at Bradley Beal and saying, hey, if I could pick him and just drop him to the Knicks and give up all these other players, it's a lateral move. And y'all saying, yo, we're going to get to the play. Like, the team overachieved this year. I'm more concerned about players' individual development. I wish this is weird. I don't wish that the Knicks would have lost, but we probably would be better off as a fan base if the Knicks had less wins. But so we can actually look at the development of individual players. Just because you're overachieving with a team that's last in the league with scoring, right? A team that's getting by on defense, and part of that is over. It's like, guys, let's see the individual developments of certain players that we have to discern. Okay, can this guy be here or not? Like,
but this is what we asked for. We've had this conversation plenty of times that we want the Knicks team to overachieve, so that they are competitive, so that they can be competitive for other players that want to, go into free agency, trade, or whatever. Look and say, this is a place where I can fit.
Right. So
this is what we asked for.
Right. But wouldn't it? Okay. When we talk about, I agree with you with the free agency. I would love it. So if people are like, yo, Tom Thibodeau got RJ to improve his efficiency to 45%. He got Randall to be a point forward. Yo, let me see what's over there. Because I'm sorry, if we trade, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but if we sat here and traded RJ and all those picks and quickly, we might come out like a worse team, and people might look at it like, yo, what the hell are they doing over there? That's a team in disarray. Like, why the hell? I don't want to go over there and play with that team that traded all those pieces just to make a lateral move for Bradley Beal. That can happen, and players will be turned off by that.
So let me ask you this. Are your draft picks more valuable before you draft them or after you draft them?
Our picks, before you draft them, because it gives you more flexibility as to who
before you draft them. Your draft picks are way more valuable before you draft those players, because you can draft a player. Now, you can draft a player and they be a star, and then of course it's more valuable, but then you're probably gonna keep the guy, right? But before you draft, that's when your draft picks are more valuable, because they can be moved around, and everyone is looking at the draft saying, we might be able to get a star with this draft pick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why I think the Knicks are looking to use those draft picks. I'm not saying that they're not going to have someone in the draft. I think obviously they're going to draft. They're going to make sure that they keep a draft pick in 2021, whether it's theirs or Dallas's. I think they're going to keep one, but I just don't think these guys is.
What's both ways?
You can't have it both ways. You can't want to get a Zach LaVine or to get this guy right here. I think you're going to hold all your draft capital and you're going to hold on to your best players.
I said several times, sir, that I would go into.
That's just not reality.
I said several times, sir, that I want to go into next year when we at least have other players. Because again, this team is not. When you relative to other teams, we're not that talented of a team. We're getting by. We're overachieving. I give credit to the development of some of these players. When you look at talent, we're not that talented. I'd rather go into next year with at least some other pieces that you can say, okay, you can build with this guy, trade this guy, build this guy, trade this guy, whatever it may be, and then give them maybe 1 or 2 picks for a Zach LaVine. And it's like, okay, this guy Zach LaVine fits with this point guard we drafted and this other guard or whatever. And we still have a guy like Randall, and maybe you pick up a second. You can fill it out better versus this year we have to give up so much. And that guy, that Zach LaVine, with less talent around him versus what he would have, say, the next year, is just. I don't think we're gonna get far. I think it might be another Melo situation where you bring in a talented player, and it's like if you make that dumb mistake, right, of not amnestying, then it's like, all right, now you're stuck, and Melo has to try to carry the team, which he wasn't able to do.
You failed to look at how management failed Melo. See,
sir, sir, Anthony, I agree with you.
Failed Melo. They had opportunities to put pieces around him, and they did. They did wrong maneuvers.
But sir,
look at Kyle Lowry in Toronto. Kyle Lowry said his bags was packed. He thought he was going to be in New York. Then what happened? Right? You went out and traded for Bayani. Why?
You could have traded Mon Shumpert for Kyle Lowry.
Past regimes again. I'm not absolving the bad, bro. I know the bad regimes of the past. Like I know that they were terrible. Like they made terrible mistakes. But what I'm saying is that when you have more leverage, or excuse me, organizationally, when you have more players, you have more talent around you, you can make those trades and feel good about making. You come from a better stance of leverage for your team. I'm talking about leverage for your team in terms of success and failure. Versus when you don't have that leverage, you don't know what you really don't have a foundation. You don't really have a look to a foundation to your team, and you're trading off these pieces. It's like people are like, oh, you have to. But it's like I don't say, well, you trade flunkies. Why don't y'all ever see the other side where it's like, yo, if we even hit decently in this next draft with all these players, you could look like the Nuggets. Well, you have a guy like Gary Harris who go to another team, and I don't see be a beast, but be a really solid player. He's starting right now, obviously. You have a guy like Jamal. You can have your second round. Obviously, it'll be tough to get a second round pick as good as Jokic. But you go in with a team where it's like, we actually are a sickeningly solid team. Like we. I'm not saying you don't make a trade if you don't want to, but why isn't no one ever want to think about that? Everybody thinks, oh man, we have to wait for another 5 years. No, the draft is right there. Next year is right there. We have a team. Literally, none of you guys can say that before the season started that we're going to the playoffs. No one projected that. So why are we acting as if we're sniffing the playoffs? Oh, we got to make that trade for Bradley. Like, what?
It's not about just sniffing the playoffs, though. I mean, you can literally see the improvement of this team. I mean, the same players that you had last season is now a top defense, and I don't think that top defense is an anomaly. I think it's real.
I think part of it is an anomaly. Our perimeter defense is a little overrated. What the hell?
I don't think it's obviously there's places where you got to fix. I'm not saying that, but I don't think it's an anomaly. I think it's real that this team has a good defense. And if you can add more offense to this team, you can vastly improve your team. And I'm not saying that you give up all of your draft picks. You know what I'm saying? Because you have so much draft capital right now, you're still going to have draft picks. I think, and that's the reason why they put themselves in that situation to make a move. I think they've been pretty clear about that.
And Coach Coloblock said the Nuggets are an outlier. I agree to that point, but even have a team as talented as, say, the Kings. And even the Kings are doing well now. They're doing good now, and that was mostly off of what? Guys they drafted. I'm not one of these people, you can only do it organically. But I was even saying at the beginning of the season, you go into that with the Kings, they can give up a Buddy Hield. He's valuable to a team that wants that type of shooting. You can give up a Buddy Hield and say a first for I'm just making something. I obviously wouldn't do it because they have guards, but a Bradley Beal, right, or Zach LaVine, right, a Buddy Hield, even a Marvin Bagley, who's talented but he's not really this world beat on that team. I'm just saying, I just like to operate from places of leverage. I've seen it too many times where the Knicks have made these so-called transformational trades. Because everybody likes to say this, the Knicks are bad management. But the Knicks have also made trades for players to come and so-called hold the fort or get them and it didn't work. And it did not work. And we have more history of making trades that did work.
Say that again?
We have more of a history of the Knicks making trades for so-called players that are supposed to help us big time or get us to the, help us get deep into playoffs than we do of trades that actually, we have more of those bad trades than we do of good trades.
I can't see. You just can't. You're getting. You gotta take that shot. You gotta take that shot with this guy. He doesn't come around. He doesn't come around all the time, G-Mo. When players like that come around and they want to come to your city and they want to come to New York and they realize what it is, that fabric alone makes me want you on my team.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we have to do
What's a star?
A star doesn't mean nothing. Bradley Beal's 6 and 15 on the Wizards. Let's start with the star crap, man. A lot of these so-called superstars and stars are so overrated. Don't play on both sides of the ball. Let's just stop, man.
Okay. If you don't want to call Bradley Beal a star, let's just call
No. Bradley, no. Bradley Beal's a star. I'm just saying that we overrate the value of these guys. Like, if they come to the Knicks, we're going to the final. Like, no, we're not.
I never said that. I'm talking about that's one piece. But you know what? Again, if Andre Drummond gets brought out, I got Bradley Beal here on the horizon. I'm not gonna give Andre Drummond a call and improve my center position. Absolutely.
That's different though. Drummond. That's different. Drummond coming here. If you obviously you don't have to trade for him. Drummond coming here. Obviously, you take a flyer on that any day of the week. I'm not the biggest fan of Drummond, but talent is talent, right? Why wouldn't you do that? But I'm talking about trading pieces and not being a place of leverage. The Knicks have done it for so many years. And it's like people just eschew that. Just like, oh, yeah, bring in Bradley. But we've done this before. We try to bring in these so-called stars. And then it's like you make one mistake. And granted, it was a dumb mistake not amnestying what's the name? But it's like you make this one mistake. And now that guy that you brought over, his whole time here is messed up. His whole time here is messed up. Mostly from that one play. I'm not saying all of it, but his whole time is messed up. So it's like, I don't know, man. Unless you're giving me the so-called LeBron Jameses, you're giving me these guys who are absolute. Like you could put LeBron James on a JV team and they're getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. Unless you're training for that type of guys, like I'm not doing it until we get a little bit more leverage and a little bit more development with this team. People talking about this team. Again, none of you guys said we were going to the playoffs, so they're overachieving even your expectations right now. So it's like, come on, man. I don't know. But
I mean, to me, overachieving is where you want to be. I mean that.
Peace, Anthony. Peace. And for whoever's calling in, please call back again. I apologize, man. Having a spirited debate with Anthony. But go ahead, son.
No, I think overachieving is where you want to be to put yourself in that position. Like that's what you do. You overachieve, and then now you're in a position to be able to, possibly make some moves to get better. I'm not. While I understand what you're saying about, making trades, I get it. Right, I fully understand it. They've done it in the past. Right, they traded for Zebo, they traded for Eddie Curry, they traded for Jamal Crawford. Right? Or did they sign Jamal? I think they traded for Jamal Crawford. I think they signed. Maybe they signed Jamal Crawford. Right. And, they made some moves that didn't work. They made some moves that did work. Allen Houston worked. Well, they signed Allen Houston. Never mind. Right. They made some moves that didn't work. Right. But for how many years have we been trying to find us a draft pick that's going to work?
For years, but there was also different.
And it hasn't worked.
But different. I don't know. It's just different. It's working this year quickly. Like, it's like, come on, man.
Right, it's working with quickly. I get it. Right. That's one player. Because it worked with Mitchell Robinson too a couple years ago. It doesn't mean that those players elevated us to become, whatever. We're better.
Is RJ helping to elevate this team?
He's helping to.
Okay.
He's
not. I'm not saying he's a superstar star, but
that was pretty much it. That was pretty much a no-brain pick. I'm not knocking the guys, but it was pretty much you were going to draft RJ.
But the Knicks could have packaged that third pick and say, hey, look, we want such and such star because we don't give a damn about. Not saying don't give a damn, but it's like, hey, we want such and such star. We'll give you this third pick. You do whatever you want.
But they hadn't shown any potential to be able to move higher in anything that they were doing. I think now, I know it's, people look and say, well, they haven't done it for an entire season, but I think you can look at this team and see that they are much better, very different team. And I'm not saying you mortgage your future. That's the reason why. And people, everyone was in the chat was laughing at me. So I think, some people playing two sides of the fence because no. I'm sitting here saying you don't trade RJ Barrett for Bradley Beal, right? You go into that negotiation with a hard stance that I'm not trading Bradley Beal, and everyone says, "Oh, well, that's not going to happen." No, they're going to hang up on you. But then they want to argue that you got to keep your young players. So what I'm saying is, I go into that negotiation saying, "I'm keeping RJ, I'm keeping Randall, but I'll give you a pick of the other guys you want in draft picks." That's what I'm going in with. And if they say no, then I walk away from it because I am valuing keeping my young guys. I'm valuing RJ Barrett. And I understand that if I bring Bradley Beal with just Julius Randle, maybe I've added a few more wins, but I haven't gone to where I want to go. You know what I'm saying? I haven't gone to where I want to go. And that's my whole thing about going into that situation. If it were to materialize with a plan that I'm keeping RJ Barrett. And if it doesn't materialize, I look elsewhere because I'm okay with what we're doing. And I want to build upon what we're doing, not take RJ Barrett out of what we're doing. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I say I go into it with that vision in mind, but then everyone said, oh, well, they're just going to hang up on you then, Sim. Well, then cool, because I am trying to preserve my youth. And I see Liggy said we've never been in this place with youth before. You know what? Like Coach Colorblocks just said about the Nuggets, there's really only a couple teams that have went to the NBA Finals with the kids that they drafted. You're going to have to add. I don't care what team you are. All of your young players are not going to become. All of your young players are not going to become stars. You're going to end up moving young players to improve your team. You know what I'm saying? So yes, we've never been in this place with youth before. I can guarantee you, if we become an Eastern Conference Finals, half of these young players will not be on this team. That's a fact.
And again, that's fine. But again, people try to make it seem like drafting doesn't work because Coach Colorblocks also misses out. And someone said Minnesota, but also those are just piss poor regimes with poor coach and everything. People don't forget. I mean, the Heat obviously brought Jimmy Butler, but that team is mostly made up of draft picks, young players, right? I'm not saying it's going to work.
Guys that they stashed in the G League. Some guys that they stashed in the G League, but not just high draft picks, but Kendrick Nunn, right? Gregory Castillo. Yeah, I mean, I know you said the Wizards would
super chat, bro.
Yeah, I know you said the Wizards would hang up, and that's cool with me. That's cool with me, but I'm trying to preserve my young guys and add on it. But I mean, when you look at the Heat, right? I mean, I don't know how many draft picks they've had, but Kendrick Nunn was, what was he? I think he was in the G League. I think Duncan Robinson was in the G League.
He won undrafted, bro. He won undrafted.
No, but he may have been a G League. I think he didn't he go to G League last year? No. I don't think he went to G League last year. I think only Duncan Robinson?
Oh, Kendrick Nunn. I think Kendrick Nunn started out in the G League.
And by the way, we got Big Bubba on the phone. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Guillermo? What's going on, Sam?
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Listen, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's tough, right? Because it's actually a good argument to have because the Knicks are overachieving. So we can have these arguments because right now I really do think the fan base is torn.
That's the truth.
You know, wanting to do win now moves and also wanting to, you know what? I mean, to get a high draft pick, which you can honestly get both sides. It's really tough for me because I'm really torn because I have said in the past that the Knicks do need to start winning, and which we are doing right now. We are really getting respectable, and we're also, you know, we're getting some traction around the league, with, especially with all the young guys that are playing, and that kind of like, you know, giving us the helm. But also, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I see the Jalen Kuminga's, Jalen Suggs, K. Cunningham, and I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa, Isaiah, who did you just say? Who did you just say?
I forgot to say, what's his name? Kuminga, whatever.
You said
the dude for the
you say Jalen Kuminga?
I don't know his name, bro. Can you let me finish my point?
Go ahead.
Because I always no, because I hate when I feel, because you and Sim always do this. Every time I'm having a good point, you always want to point out some name I don't know. Kuminga. I don't know these names.
We typically know that you ain't talking about nothing. So it's just, you know what I mean? You just said Jolan Kaminsky. Who did you just say?
Oh, man. The dude from the G League. Shut up, Guillermo. I don't care. But what I'm trying to say is that
Cowabunga.
You're both here. See, now y'all laughing. I'm trying to have a
I'm sorry. That was clutch, man. I apologize, man. Go ahead, Isaiah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is it's really tough, though, right? It is really, really tough to see what's best for the Knicks. Now, I'm going to be real with you. I'm not with getting Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, listen, people don't want to hear the truth about Bradley Beal. He's not helping. I'm not going to say not helping you. He's not putting you over the top to help you get a championship. Because if you're going to make a move for Bradley Beal, those are championship type of moves. And the amount of assets that you're going to have to trade to get Bradley Beal, you really, I'm being honest with you, you're probably doing the Melo trade again, but with him not being on the same level as Melo. Because clearly, at least Melo could take his team to the playoffs. Right now, I'm watching Bradley Beal not be able to do that with the Wizards in the East. So
I disagree.
Hold up, Isaiah. Sim want to say something. Hold up, Isaiah.
I disagree. Melo took his team to the Melo went to the playoffs with the Denver Nuggets because they had a really good team. It wasn't just Melo taking them to the playoffs. They had a really good teteam, right? I mean, they had really good teams over there in Denver when Melo was there.
Chauncey, Nene,
they had really good teams. When you look at the Wizards, I mean, you look at just 2 years ago, the Wizards were in the playoffs. We weren't. And Bradley Beal was still a primary player just 2 years ago. They were in the playoffs. So it's not like he hasn't taken them to the playoffs.
Did they have John Wall?
I mean, they did.
They have players. They have some players.
But that's part of them. That's part of the team. Over the last 6 years, 6 to 7 years, they've been to the playoffs about 4 times.
Is Bradley Beal a top 10 player?
Can you hear him, Sim? He asked you a question.
What did he say?
He says Bradley Beal a top 10 player.
I mean, I'd have to look at the top 10 players. He's close. If not there, he's close. He'll be starting on an all-star team, most likely.
Charles B. Knicks were 2 games over 500 before Melo came and finished 2 games over 500.
But what I'm trying to say is, right, so Sim, we're trying to win a championship, right?
Not this year.
The thing with Bradley Beal is top 10 players don't get you top 5 players get you championship. Top 6. And if he's not in that top 6, I'm gonna be real with you. It's hard to win a championship with a non-top 6 player. Look at the last.
So when are you getting when are you getting a top 6 player?
Top five players in the league.
Are you getting a top 5 player?
The assets that you're gonna have to trade to keep Bradley Beal. Let's say.
Right. So we're saving. So Isaiah, are we saving?
Hold on.
RJ.
Isaiah, hold up.
Isaiah, are we saving all of our chips to get a top 5 player? You tell me we're saving all of our chips to get a top 5 player. Good. We're done.
I get that the Knicks are building.
No, answer me. Are we saving all of our chips to get a top 5 player? And tell me who it is.
I just don't think what we have right now on the team would get Bradley Beal to the Knicks, and then for what we would able to keep, it wouldn't be much. You would lose draft picks. You would lose players. And like I said before, right? Let's say you can for some reason keep an RJ Barrett. So you have RJ, Randall, and Bill. I'm gonna be real with you. That's not gonna get you to where we want to go. I don't believe that's gonna get you. Are you better than the Nets? No. Are you better than the Nuggets? No. Are you better than the Lakers? No. Are you better than the Bucks? No. Are you better than the Celtics? No. Are you better than the Sixers? No. I just named like 6 teams. Tell me when we are. Tell me.
Isaiah,
hold on. Tell me the top 5 player we're getting, when we're getting them, and how we're going to be. When are we going to be even close to those teams? Because if you think the draft picks are going to get us there, you're probably wrong.
You don't know that though. That's like, for example, right? That's like, and again, I'm going to use this as an example just so people understand. That's like. That's like saying in 02, you know what, we should have made the playoffs. We should have went for the 03 draft. The 03 draft, who cares about those players?
Tell me which player. So are there guaranteed transformational players in this draft?
That's dope. And again, I'm not trying to compare the 2021 draft to the 03 draft because there's no one that's LeBron James level. But I'm just saying, when you have all those players, sometimes I get that people are excited that we're winning. I really do. And I get that people see and they can sniff the playoff. But if you're going to miss on guys that could potentially be top good players in the league for 10 years, 15 years, do you make the playoffs and not get those guys? that can lead, that can maybe be top 15 guys in the league for 10 years? Do you miss that? Do you miss?
But listen. Everyone is guaranteeing that these guys are going to be a top 10 player in the NBA. Everyone is guaranteeing that these guys are going to be top 10. You don't know. They may not be. These guys may end up being busts. They may end up being top 10. You don't know.
And that trade you make, it could be a bust too. It works.
It could be.
Ways.
Everything you do is a chance.
Right.
It could end up being a bust. But we keep waiting around for this top 10 player, for this top 5 player, for a LeBron or a Kobe or one of these guys to just magically appear on our team. Like, we don't have to go out and try to get these guys.
But
we keep waiting around for it.
But Sim, all I'm saying is that, again, right, do you go to the playoffs in 02 or do you go for the chance to get a top 5 player in 03?
Bro, how do you know you're getting a top 5 player?
If the Knicks can win, listen, in our whole dream, our best dream scenario, we hope that the Knicks can win and the Mavs suck so we can still get a top. That'd be the greatest scenario in the whole world. Everybody will literally win. But look, right, the Mavs are starting to win some more. They're getting out of the lottery a little bit more. I'm just saying, do you miss out on a potential great draft with, like I said before, where these guys have a chance? You have the Cage. You have a Jalen Suggs that can be a prominent point guard for 15 years, which the Knicks have been dying for. You got a guy in the G League that just had a great game that's looking like a great small forward, power forward. Do you miss out on those chances, though? And I understand where you're coming from, because
if he's in the G League, you still got a chance.
It's hard when you have a draft that can be this talented, that can maybe rival 03, 96. Maybe it can rival those things. Do you miss that?
Maybe. You said maybe. You said maybe. You said maybe. The whole thing is, you said maybe, right? We're going to keep hedging our bets. We continuously every year hedge our bets that we're going to, pull out this young player, that young player, and that is going and we're going to end up with a top 5 player, a top flight player. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you give up all of your draft picks for 2021. I've already said you keep one of your draft picks for 2021 because you can move a draft pick in 2022 because you have the Dallas pick in 2021. So you can move the Dallas 2021, you can move your own 2022, and you can move a Dallas 2023. Or if you want to move your own, you can move your own. You know what I'm saying? So you have a bevy of draft picks that you can still move and still keep your own draft picks, or still have draft picks that you can draft for yourself. So it's not like you're not players, and you got all these 2023 second round draft picks that you can make moves with as well. So it's not about giving up all these young guys. You still have draft picks. You still have, everyone's like, oh, we're going to get 2 top 10 draft picks. Well, you still got to pay those draft picks, and you got to figure out how you're going to maneuver with those guys coming in. You know what I'm saying? And then what's going to happen? You get these draft picks and everyone's going to say, well, we just drafted this guy, so you got to sit this guy that's been doing well because you got to let these draft picks play that play. You know what I'm saying? Those draft picks are more valuable before you draft the guys than when you draft the guys. You know what I'm saying? So if you can make a move, in my opinion, if you can make a move and still keep a group of youth together, then you do it.
All right.
That's the reason why they brought in all these draft picks, so that they can still have draft picks.
Right.
I just don't know. We keep waiting around. We're waiting around, and I don't think waiting around is getting us any place. We're just going to be. I think we're going to be waiting around for another 5 years.
You're wrong, but I'm right. It's all right. I'm better than you, but
yeah. Go spell the names you try to pronounce.
I hear what you're saying.
When you can spell those names, come talk to me.
I think we all want the same thing. We want the team to be great, and people have their own way of. People are divided on the 2 ways to do it. Again, right? It's tough. You want to win, but you also want to get the pick. Look, man, hopefully our dream scenario can happen where the Knicks are good and the Mavs are in the lottery. Let's hope. But thank you, Guillermo. Thank you, Sam. Great show. Hey, please get them likes up. We have over 200 people, and we only got like 70 likes. Can you please get them likes up?
Hit the likes.
I appreciate that. Guillermo, Sam, I'm going to talk to you later. I'm going to be in the chat.
All right, man. Peace. bro. And salute to man Hinton, man. He found my Cash App, by the way. I don't know how. I just feel weird about putting that up, man. But thank you for the
I don't like doing that either.
Yeah, it's just
I feel weird about that too. And Daryl, you say especially if they're 1 through 3 picks, are we getting the 1 through 3rd pick this year?
No, that's what Isaiah. Okay, I'm not of the school of tanking. I'm not of that. I think that you could play out this season, make the playoffs. I still think even if you had a so-called late lottery, I still think you'd come out this draft with 2 solid players who could be legitimate foundational pieces for the success of this team. But salute to Jay Boogie. Thank you, Jay Boogie, for the super chat. It says Hinton. Is that your name? Oh, my bad. I mean, say your government. Salute to you, Jay Boogie. Because I got Hinton here too. There's a dude named Hinton Murphy.
I mean, we'll see.
Thank you so much for that. Go.
We'll see. I think that everything is going to depend on where they are at the All-Star break. I really do. If they flounder the rest of this month, and they've fallen, then it'd be crazy for them to then it's going to say, well, this is who you are, this is what you are. But if they're right there, then I still think, again, it's going to say this is where you are, and I think they try to bolster their roster. Bolster their roster doesn't always mean that they sell out the team. You know what I'm saying? Bolster their roster could be adding any one of players around the league that can fit that a wing player, because I think that's what they're in desperate need of is a wing player that can score, to help you down the stretch of these games. Now, Bradley Beal is probably not even going to be on the table, to be honest with you. Zach LaVine, maybe. And Zach LaVine is my first choice, really, because I just like his contract. His contract matches up with Randall, so if it doesn't work, you can move on from it. You know what I'm saying? He might be a little cheaper to get when you're talking about a Zach LaVine. I would love a Zach LaVine. You might not be able to get, he may not be on the market either. Right. My guys, Zach LaVine and Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's probably off the table now since they got Derrick Rose. But that was kind of my dream. If it was at the deadline or sometime over the summer, you get Zach LaVine and you get Kyle Lowry to add to this roster. And I thought we'd be looking really, really good. If, most likely Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine is not going to be available. Someone like Orlando, just looking at some rumors and things out there, they could be looking to break down their roster. So someone like a Evan Fournier or a Terrence Ross could be available.
Terrence Ross could be available. Terrence Ross. What the hell?
He's like 30. He just turned 30 this month.
Sharpshooter. I'm just thinking. Would you have to give a first? Knox in a second.
I mean, he's making like 14,000 this year and next year.
I mean, 14 million.
14 million.
Like the thing, he needs to find another job, bro.
Yeah, right.
The whole 14,000. I know what you mean. 14 million, and he has what, 1 more year left on his contract.
So he's got this season and next season left on his contract.
That would be if the Knicks could somehow. But we're the Magic right now. The Magic are probably in the playoff hunt, right?
They're in the playoff hunt, I think, but it's just kind of been speculation that they've been hovering around this 8th, 9th seed for a few years now, and they may be looking to go in another direction. If that were the case, Terrence Ross would be a nice addition to this team.
Yes, he would. Be a
really nice addition to this team.
Come on.
Oh, whoa. Orlando's 9-16. They're like 13th. I thought they were a little closer.
I feel like all these teams, Orlando's another weird team. They teeter. Either get to the playoffs and lose in the first round, or they just miss it. But look, I like what we did with Derrick Rose. I like how we beat the Pistons. I think that's excellent by the front office. I know people have been scorned by previous front offices, but I think that this one's a lot smarter. And again, when we talk about the playoffs, I know people want to trade for Bill and LaVine, but I also want to see how these young players step up in the playoffs if we do make it. I would love to see RJ quickly, even an Obi with a Randall, Derrick Rose, right? There's a nice little mix of youth and veteran leadership or veteran players. Obviously, certain places kind of hold us back, guys like Bullock and EP at times. definitely hold us back. If we had Terrence Ross, the Terrence was like a guard. If we had legit just a knockdown 3-point shooter, this team would be.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's a legit, just straight knockdown 3-point shooter, Terrence Ross.
Now,
Really.
he's like, I don't put him in just a volume, but he heats up. Like he could get.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he would still be a really nice fit with this team, I think, and provide you some of that scoring punch. He's shooting 33%, 32.8%, basically 33% from the three. He shoots 90% from the free throw line this season.
Now, how about your boy Oladipo? Because everybody's telling him. I have my reason why I want to stay away from Oladipo, but
I'm not that high on. I mean, he's okay. You know, I'm not like clamoring to bring in Victor Oladipo though, because all right, if you're bringing in, let's say you brought in a Zach LaVine or Bradley Beal, you're still going to move RJ to the three and have those guys play a shooting guard spot. I would rather have a longer, in my opinion, player come in. I mean, Bradley Beal 6'3", but 6'3", 6'4", but he's a scorer, like a crazy scorer. Zach LaVine is like 6'6". That's why I really like Zach LaVine too, is because he's a little bit longer. He can score the basketball. He's efficient from the field. And now you still got length in that lineup with Zach LaVine and RJ Barrett, right? Mm-hmm. You know, vacillating between the 2 and the 3. Bradley Beal is a little bit smaller. Obviously, you know what kind of scoring threat he is. Victor Oladipo is smaller too. Not the same scoring threat as Bradley Beal. So now I think you're making your lineup smaller and not longer. And defensively, I think you would like to have longer lineups, right? So you already got, your point guard is going to be 6'4", no matter who's your starting point guard is going to be 6'3", 6'4", right? Between Peyton, Rose, and Quickly is going to be 6'3", 6'4". Okay, decent size. You don't want to now have your shooting guard also be 6'4". I think in my opinion, I would rather have my shooting guard be 6'6". I would rather have my small forward be 6'7" to 6'8". In my opinion, with more length. But if you can get away with RJ being there and a shooting guard that's like 6'6", I think that's good. So Victor Oladipo, to me, he's small, he's shorter. He doesn't have a lot of length, right? He's not small, but he doesn't have a lot of length.
Yeah.
And he's inefficient. And he had the one point in his career where he made the All-Star team and he shot efficiently. But that's kind of been the outlier of his career.
That first year with the Pacers, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's really been the outlier. The rest of his career has been inefficient scoring. Mm-hmm. So I'm not crazy about Victor Oladipo.
High usage player. He's averaging usage. And he had the issue with Miles Turner too. And I'm not picking. I don't know which sides it is, but that could be an issue because it just seems like he's a guy who, if he's playing with other talent, he wants the ball out in his hands. I'm not sure if he's a guy who's going to commit to playing off the ball, especially he's a guy who's looking for a contract. So in this year, it just doesn't make any sense to trade for him like that. Even though, doesn't make sense.
I just, to me, with Victor Oladipo, I'm just not crazy about it.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Victor Oladipo, talented player, but just not our cup of tea. But since people ruin my freaking film review, I'll do that later. Then after this, I'll set up something for the nerds who want to watch some boring film review. But this is excellent. I love all these questions. It's important because the Knicks are definitely overachieving. I still think that Derrick Rose should be starting, but I could talk about that in the boring film review.
He might end up. We could talk. We could jump into that. He might end up being the starter. I don't think it's going to happen right away.
They traded for the guy that brought him over. I think that, and I agree that there's the politics of things, but let's be honest. Even when before someone else is calling, screaming on me.
It sounds like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or something like that. Everyone's talking to them. Bang, bang. Oh, God. Oh.
I gotta get my sweater. So Lou, who's this?
What's good with you, my guy, man? This is Jay Boogie, man. How y'all doing this evening, man? Shout out.
Salute to Jay Boogie, man, a.k.a. the street preacher, a.k.a. the guy to have you butt naked doing everything he says. You look at me like, yo, what am I doing here, man? Jay Boogie, one of the top personalities in all of Nickland, man. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Just to let you know, man, that was me, J1 Henson, man. Make sure I touch you with the cash app. Tim, I think I did that with you, the same thing the other day.
Yes, sir.
To let you know when the pass hit, that'd be me with J1 Henson, man.
Thank you, but
sir. I'm gonna get to it real quick, man. New York, we known the straight go getters. We don't wait for nothing, man. I ain't never seen a New York person just sit around and wait not to go get it. You know what I'm saying? When we want something, we go ahead and straight go get it. Right now is our time, you know what I'm saying, to go get it. Tom don't came in and showed us, yo, right now, I'm going to turn it around early because I ain't got, 4-5 years to do what I got to do. So I'm going to make advantage of this right here, right now. No, we didn't look to be in this position that we in right now, you know what I'm saying, early at the beginning of the season. No, we didn't look for Julius Randle to be doing what he doing from the beginning of the season, you know what I'm saying. No, we ain't look to be going in and out from the, you know what I'm saying, top 8 in the East, you know what I'm saying, and talking about playoffs. No, we didn't look for it. But guess what? Those type things don't happen. So right now, we got to ride the wave right now, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and do what you got to do because we only all from a few players, but go ahead and take the next step, man. Right now is the time for us to go ahead and do it. Ain't nothing guaranteed in that draft pick, you know what I'm saying? But what is guaranteed is right now. See, back in the days when they used to do the draft and they used to come up on TV, you used to see them put their hand in the popcorn machine and pull out who getting that draft pick. We from New York. We ain't even been to the playoffs. We ain't won no chips, and the Lord knows when. Man, we the #1 franchise. They not looking to give us anything. You know what I'm saying? You think that was an accidental when LeBron left Cleveland and they got the #1 pick? No, they gave that to him. You think it was accidental when Anthony Davis left New Orleans and they got the #1 pick? No, they gave that to him. So what makes you think if we got the worst record in the league and they didn't give us the #1 pick, what makes you think they looking to give us something as a franchise? So they ain't looking to give us anything right now. You know what I'm saying? We got to go get it ourselves. And you trust and believe me, I love our young youth, but we got a chance to go get a multi-player like Bradley Beal, a straight killer from all 3 areas of the court. We need to go ahead and grab him because our money is not messed up. Plus, we can free up money for next year and bring along somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference with having a major star in place and not having a major star and trying to go get a major star, man. Our time is right now. You know what I'm saying? We're not looking to go win the championship this year, but we're looking to, you know what I'm saying, next year come to go ahead and be a factor for us, you know what I'm saying, in that Eastern Conference. We're still 3 years behind Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to catch up. They trying to move over here and take over. So we need to get back to what we need to be get back to, you know what I'm saying, and go ahead and grab a marquee player instead of lingering around and hoping and praying on this right here when it's right there in our faces. We ain't never had on cap space one. We ain't never had draft picks and all this at the same time. So we can pick and choose on different areas and different ways of how we want to go about it, you know what I'm saying? But we can go ahead and grab somebody like Bill and see what we're going to look like, you know what I'm saying, for the rest of the year. In the next season, we can build upon him and still have, you know what I'm saying, cap space to open up and free up, you know what I'm saying, for the future, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like we just grabbing somebody and giving up all our picks and our money is tied up, man. We got a winning coach. We got a winning office right now. And James Dolan sit back, he's praying and hoping. He put them guys to go ahead and do what they got to do. And he ain't going to mind going over the luxury tax, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got no clothes on our team. You look at our last 4 possessions from the other day, you know what I'm saying? Julius missed 3 straight baskets, so he didn't call a play back for Julius. He went and did a call and design a play for RJ, but it's not a design play. It's a dribble handoff. That's a play we run normally at the top tip of the arm at the beginning of the game. Just give him a dribble handoff. You know why? Because we don't have nobody that's just dribble up and pass it off and clear out, get out the way. None of them guys get clear out and take you one-on-one. Julius didn't do it 3 straight times, and RJ couldn't do it, you know what I'm saying? That's why we don't design clear outs, you know what I'm saying? Everything is dribble handoffs, you know what I'm saying? And we got 2 left-handed dudes that's going the same way on the court, so it really don't work with them 2 right there. They clogging up on another space, you know what I'm saying? But I'm all for it, and he ain't playing tomorrow night, and I hope tomorrow when we go back, we bring him back, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just another piece. That's not the finished product. Them ain't got plans for us to do what we got to do, you know what I'm saying? For us, you know, being a factor back in the basketball era, you know what I'm saying? New York City, the orange and blue, the Mecca. We try to get back on top where it's supposed to be at, and we can't sit and wait for nobody to give it to us. We all New York, and we got to go get it, man. Please shout out, man. I'm gonna sit back and listen to what y'all talking about. And Sim, yeah, that Nas track is fire. Yeah, I know that Messiah joint. Yeah, it's banging like that. I was listening to you. I'm gonna holler back. Go on.
All right, man. Pete, you out. This guy did not take one breath this whole time. Not one. Salute to Jay Boogie. Thank you so much for the super chat. This guy is infamous. Jay Boogie, if you want to come on the show. I thought I didn't put it out. I think I gave it out to Steve Fox, who didn't want to come on tonight. And I think I gave it to Chuck B too. But definitely Jay Boogie, you're always welcome to come on the video chat, man. Let me say darts at that, right? We talk about the past regimes. No one told Phil Jackson to sleep during Donovan Mitchell's workout, to sit there and say, oh, you don't like sushi? I'm not drafting you. He drafted Frank Ntilikina. No one told first of all, no one told Dolan to hire Stevie Mills. No one told Stevie Mills to fall in love with Kevin Knox after one workout instead of months of preparation. And grits, I like MPJ, but I'm okay with not taking just because of back issues. But you have Mikal Bridges, who I was screaming for Villanova. Now that guy's a vital piece to that Suns team. So the thing about, we say that we discuss with patience, but the thing that we have not had with patience all these years is prudence. Everybody tells you patience and prudence. Because everybody's saying now, oh, the Knicks, yo, we finally back. Like, we're a few games below 500 on the East. We actually look like the Magic right now. And we want to give up all these pieces so we bring back the Mecca. Well, let me tell you how the Mecca was created. The Mecca, or the last time the Mecca actually looked like something good for several years was with who? Patrick Ewing. And Patrick Ewing was a draft pick. And we had a good coach. We had a good foundation of players. Not to say you don't make the trades and stuff, but when we talk about, yo, let's get back to the Mecca. I want to get back to the Mecca where we go into the playoffs every year and I can sit back and relax and just wait till we get to the playoffs. Not, oh, we got to make this trade, or now we got to release this guy and then amnesty this guy and do this thing and this machination to bring and hopefully get this one point guard to fit with this one player and have these other role players and hope we could beat a Pacers team like we did with Melo and not get blocked by freaking this jerk Roy Hibbert. You know what I mean? So look, that hyped me up, but I like to sit back before all the Army troops go in against the zombie herd and be like, wait, time out. Don't do that. Hold on, let's think about it first. Because everything Jay Boogie said, it gets you hyped up. And Jay Boogie's my guy, but come on, dogs. Like we say here, like we had bad regimes. I have a lot more faith in this regime than I've had in years. I probably trust this regime more. I actually trust this regime more than even a Donnie Walsh, just because Donnie Walsh did not draft well. And even though he's trying to clean up, we could have used a Zebo back then. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I still like Donnie Walsh, but I think this regime, I have a little bit more trust in their decision making, even though the UK CAA thing versus Tom Thibodeau might make me a little hesitant at times to fully trust him. But I have more faith in these guys to make decent draft picks. That if a Donovan Mitchell is sitting right there in your lap, they've done their homework like they did with Quickly. Because I did that one show with Quickly. I think that was a Sunday. I did it. I was talking about Quickly. I was oh yeah, that's cute. That's cool. He's a cool player, whatever. And they picked him, and this guy's looking like, again, a steal. So I put more trust in him than.
Yeah, listen, I put a lot of trust in these guys to make moves as well, not just draft. And, you know, when we talk about the whole Patrick Ewing days, when you look at those rosters, they weren't made up of draft picks. You had Patrick Ewing.
Right. But guys,
they weren't made up of
David
these draft picks.
McHale's, Oakley, I think, was traded.
I mean, when we were going to the championship and it was John Starks and it was Charles Oakley, Derek Harper and those guys, we did draft Greg Anthony, right? I mean, we weren't made up of draft picks. We were made up of guys that were traded for from around the league.
Right.
Or we signed in free agency, but you had Patrick Ewing, who was the foundation and the centerpiece of it all. And you're hoping right now that it's RJ, because we're not getting and he was the number one pick overall.
Right. No, fair enough. And Josh says, well, Jamal Murray hasn't won anything with the Nuggets either. Well, Westbrook hasn't won anything with OKC, Rockets, and the Wizards. He got traded twice. I'm just saying it works both ways. There's guys who get traded and they again don't win anything. So suit to Jay Boogie for that crazy call, man. That's my guy. Man. This guy did not breathe not once. Jay Boogie, I don't know what you do for a living, man. I don't know if you're a deep diver, one of these dark sea deep divers, whatever, man. Like you have a ridiculous talent to like preach, man, because that was crazy.
He made me look around for an asthma pump to see if I need.
I'm like, yo, when is this dude gonna breathe? Sujay Boogeyman, that's my guy, man. But I like patience, I like prudence, and again, I said till next year. And someone said if Bradley Beal comes here, look, if Bradley Beal comes here and is working, obviously I'll eat crow and say, hey, okay, it's working. I was incorrect. I have no problems doing that, and I'm not one of these people that I want Bradley Beal to do bad in the Knicks, so my so-called point does well. Like I don't give a damn about my point if the Knicks are winning. I'll be wrong. I would love to be wrong 90% of the time, 100% of the time. If everything I say, the Knicks did the opposite, and we're winning, and we're getting a championship, so we're getting closer. So I don't know. That's just kind of crazy. But salute to everybody in the chat, man. Ronald Miller. Yeah, Jay Boogie needs to do Knicks highlights too, man. He'd probably be like Snoop Dogg on a Nate Robinson match, just hyping it up. Not even covering the intricacies of the game, but just hyping it up, man. Salute to Jay Boogie. But last thing before we get out of here, I just want to ask you about these Wizards. The Wizards are garbage here, I believe, 6-15. They're going to be out with not having Bradley Beal because Bradley Beal he needs his rest. So I believe it's going to be Westbrook, Bertans, Ish Smith, Danny Avdija, and then they have some guy named Neil. Not Neil. Real. Let me just look up their terrible trash lineup. But let me not say that because we said about OKC. We're supposed to be OKC, and we got mollywopped. So, Sim, any
I'm scared of the team, honestly. With Beal or without Beal, you know what I mean? Because they're a team that can score, and every time we play teams that, score with a lot of movement and stuff like that, we have a hard time. You look at Miami. Well, we played Miami really, really well over the last 2 games, and they're a team that is in constant motion. They can obviously shoot the basketball, and we were right there with them. The Wizards, they don't play the same type of defense, but they can score the basketball. I mean, they've had nights where they've scored almost 150. Without Bradley Beal, we'll see, what they can do without Bradley Beal. What about Westbrook? Is he playing or is he still out?
I think Westbrook, because I guess he was out for rest too. So I think he might be playing. Sorry, just look at the lineup one more time. So I can't even call him trash. I'm not saying it'll be anybody. They got Robin Lopez, Bradley Beal, Darius Bertans, Denny Avdija, who actually did a good job on Academia tonight. Ish Smith, Raul Neto, sorry. Westbrook, Gerard Chimera, Alex Len is actually on the team. He can join them. And,
Alex Len? Okay.
Moritz Wagner, Cassius Winston. But Cassius Winston was in the G League, though, I think. I just heard his name in the G League the other day, so he's probably not playing. Like you said, yeah, they're one of the better teams offensively in the league. They rank right now 11th in the league in points per game, 30th in the league in opponents' points per game, 120.9. But again, the Knicks, they're actually first in pace. So that is going to be looking to run, especially a team that may not have the offensive firepower with Bradley Beal not there. They're probably looking to run a lot. Offensive rating, 21st out of 30, which is interesting. Defensively, 29th out of 30. And then looking at some of the things like their three-point shooting, something I think that bothers us at times, they're actually not that good of a three-point shooting team. They rank 27th in the league right now in terms of three-point percentage. Three-pointers made 22nd. Three-pointers attempted, they're 18th. So, again, they're not going to be shooting a lot of threes. Even though I will say without Bradley Beal, just like how in the Cavaliers game, you're probably going to see a lot more threes taken just because you don't have a guy like Bradley Beal. But, again, if Westbrook is playing, he's a low IQ player to me. No offense. Westbrook, you're one of my favorite players to watch, but you are a low IQ player. So that could definitely be an advantage to us because the same way Colin Sexton, his appearance, you might have a guy like Westbrook who may try to drive, ISO, use a pick and roll, get into the heart of the paint. And if we defend him well, obviously get him stuck a few times, bad possessions, that's better for us versus when we play the Cavaliers the second time out of 3 games. Guys like they were using Okoro and Dotson to drive and kick out to guys like Chetty Osman, who killed us from 3. So interesting game. I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, it's an interesting, very interesting game. I don't like playing the Wizards because we beat them, but we always seem to, somehow mess them up with the Wizards. Even if they, like last year when they beat us with a bunch of guys that no one ever heard of.
4G
or almost beat us. Did they beat us or almost beat us? I don't know, but
did they beat us and then they almost beat us the second game?
Yeah, it was something like that, and I'm like, and I hate playing a team. I'm kind of glad that we know that he's going to be out because now they get a chance to look at the game plan and how they might play without him instead of it being, a last minute thing. And now, you're trying to figure out what you're going to do. So at least they get a little bit of a chance to game plan without him being there. But it's a game that we should win, but you can never say that really right now with the Knicks that they should win this game.
And we should see a lot of pick and roll against this team. I mean, they're just poor overall defensively, but some of the plays where they're pouring spot ups, but we're not a great spot up shooting team. Pick and roll, they're really poor, giving up 43% of possessions, 170 to 393. They're terrible in transition, but we don't run that. In cuts, they're terrible. They're terrible in isolation, which will help us. I mean, that should be a night. If Elfrid Payton is starting, attack their guards. I think they run a lot of man defense because I was watching the Bulls highlights. They ran a lot of man on Zach LaVine. So, again, I think that this is another game that I'm not saying we're going to win or be up by like that or whatever, but if this might be a game that you're going to see Tom Thibodeau exhibit some more creativeness on offense, right? When teams play on zones, like the Heat were doing with the two-man trap up top, you just need guys who can knock down shots and make plays, make the proper passing. But I think the team is inept defensively. Again, I'm not saying we're going to win. You might see a lot more creativity from Tom Thibodeau. Also look for guys like Obi to have a solid night. Quickly, again, how they utilize him. It might turn into them using pick and roll. But again, last game with Derrick Rose, they used him off the ball a lot. He missed shots, but look for his development in that regards. RJ should be a bounce back night. Obviously, he knows he likes to use the pick and roll a lot. And a game where, again, I'll probably do the film review probably after this or something. You guys join in so I can put the video chat. I just want to have this video for like 3 hours. But what I noticed is that Elfrid Payton, he got a lot of his points off of pace, transition points, and pushing the tempo, not letting defense settle. And then even Derrick Rose is such a, he can split the top of zone defenses and kick it out to the open guy. And what I've noticed with him is that, he's always looking up for somebody else. He's always looking for the open guy off the cuff. And then you have veterans who are playing like Burks, and they were just literally kicking the ball around. And I haven't seen that type of kick around. You don't see it consistently with the Knicks. So,
yeah, I think part of it was Miami running that high trap. Like they were really running a high trap and blitzing the guards. And so part of I think the strategy was to try to beat that high trap up the floor. So they pushed the ball a little bit more. And then when they would trap, if you can get that pass out quick enough, this is what makes Derrick Rose so effective because he could split that trap. You can get that pass out, then you should be able to find some open shots, and you just got to be able to knock down those shots. I really like Derrick I really like seeing Derrick Rose first game in, already coaching up quickly. You seen him on the sidelines, talking to him. You seen him over there, talking about doing whatever. You seen him on the court, talking on the court, telling quickly, do this, do that on the court. He's going to be really, really good for quickly, I think.
No, yeah, I agree 1,000,000,000%, man. That was so impressive to have him doing that. That's why I asked, would he be the whole bench thing, right? If he's better on the bench to develop the youth, but then you're in the so-called playoff hunt, have him start, play the 25 minutes. But again, the Knicks like to get into their sets. I apologize. Holy crap! What the hell is in Chris Webber's head? Is that a toupee? I don't know. If you guys are watching this is scary, man. This is like freaking.
What is that on TNT or something?
He has like this big Kool-Aid smile, but his hairline, and my hairline is trash, but he has his hairline looks like, I don't know what the hell that is. That scared me, but because he kept smiling at the camera, like it looked weird. But yeah. So with Derrick Rose, I always wonder if should he be playing with the starting unit because the way he was looking at guys, like looking at different guys on the court versus, EP calls for the, he calls for the pick and roll, slows up the game a little bit. And obviously Tom Thibodeau does at times, I think, favor playing with a little bit less pace. But Derrick Rose just brings a different dynamic. And I feel like if you could not say blow out teams, but put teams in a hole early on and make it harder for them to come back, I think it worked. And a guy like Elfrid Payton, he plays better with pace. So with that second unit with Quickly and Obi, he might, and in fact, he passed a lot to the power forward. He needs Obi to set the pick and roll anyway. He might do better with that second unit.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Tom Thibodeau to do anything. I think in the beginning, at least in the beginning, Derrick Rose is probably going to come off the bench. Derrick Rose might be preferring to come off the bench too. I think I was reading an article where he said in Detroit, he asked to come off the bench. He preferred to come off the bench. So, Tom Thibodeau is probably going to give, whatever Derrick Rose wants to do, he's probably going to say, you let me know how you feel about it and what you want to do. Clearly, he could be the starting point guard on his team. You know what I'm saying?
I just hope he's not shell-shocked.
And Carlos said he doesn't pass unless it's Randall. Actually, if you go look at all of the players' passing stats, he passes 35% to Randall and 30% to RJ.
All right.
So it's between those two guys that he passes to the most when you talk about Elfrid Payton in that starting unit. When you look at who's in the starting unit, I don't know who else he's going to pass to. Maybe he can get some more to Mitch. Reggie Bullock. Reggie Bullock is actually shooting 37% from the 3-point line.
How? Oh, well, he had that one game. But he's shooting 40% from the field. Yeah, come on, man.
I
think that one game. Yeah, that 7 for 14.
He was like 7 for 14. So that game did a lot. He shot 50%. That game obviously did a lot, but
he had a lot of offers.
It was blazing.
3 0 for 4s. I'm like, Reggie.
Yeah,
you just give me one.
But I mean, I liked the way the second unit with Austin Rivers in there looked terrible to me. It was all over the place. It seemed like there was no organization. They were just doing whatever. And it was so dribble heavy with Quickly and Austin Rivers. It was just like dribble. From what we seen the other night with Derrick Rose, he wasn't dribble heavy. All right. He either made a move or he passed the ball. They looked like they had more cohesion and they were more under control. So we'll see we'll see how that looks. And they played very well together. But I wouldn't put it past him moving into the starting lineup, and then Elfrid Payton going to the bench. Either way, I think Tom Thibodeau, is going to use all three. Austin Rivers is definitely out of the rotation. I mean, it was crazy. Like, he didn't even give Austin Rivers a look. It was, if I was Austin Rivers, I'd be hot. But what can he say? He didn't even give Austin Rivers a look. I know. He only has himself to blame. He didn't even. It's crazy. Derrick Rose came in. He hasn't played basketball in 3 weeks.
And he looked like the best player of the whole. But see, the thing about Austin Rivers, he tries to razzle and dazzle, and he'll take contested shots, and he'll razzle and dazzle for like 4 seconds. It's like, dog.
And take all these dribbles and do all this. What are you doing? Right. Yeah. I was so wrong about Austin Rivers. I can't believe it. For real. I thought Austin Rivers was prime. Austin Rivers was prime to do something good this year. And he was coming in to say, hey, I can be a guy. He's just not playing the way that I expected he could play. How
do you think RJ Barrett's going to recover, man? Because that and by the way, he made that layup earlier in the night. He made the left hand. He made a right hand layup that was kind of tough too. And I think positively, I think he's going to rebound. But I think he's maybe one of those dudes where it's manic, right? He's one of those. He is going to be like he's probably taking 500 of those layups.
Yeah, I think he's going to rebound. I feel like the problem with RJ always is going to be that he's not really super athletic. So he's not. In those last minute shots, you really got to be able to rise over your defender. So you can get a clean look at the basket if it's a pull up jump shot or whatever it is. And he's not really that athletic. So I guess everything's gonna have to be done through craftiness, and he's done a good job over the past few weeks, just being crafty enough to get his shot off, get into good spots on the floor. So he's going to have to find a way down the stretch to be crafty enough to get those shots and make them, But, hey, you know what? He wasn't afraid to take. I mean, obviously, he didn't have no choice, but he still could have been, nervous about it. He didn't look nervous to try to take it against the Jimmy Butler. So I'm encouraged at that. I think he'll make some of those shots.
He has to pass the ball on the fast break, dude. What the hell, man? Like, I understand you want to.
Oh gosh, yeah. That play where was it Burks or somebody was open,
wide open.
Yeah.
Just make that nice little slip pass, easy layup. Same thing with Randall the other game. Was it the what game was that? Wasn't Clippers, was it? Was that Clippers game? Randall, it was a 3-on-1. Had Randall and somebody else. The other person had bad spacing, but you still have Randall open. Just pass the damn ball, bro. Like, we're not saying you want to be it, but don't try to be a hero ball. Just make the right play. You've been doing it.
Just make it,
You're picking better spots on the floor. Because like if RJ, look, that mid-range shot, man, if you could make that a go-to in clutch situations. I mean, look at Butler. Tyler Hero was hitting mid-range shots the other game. So it's RJ, man. Look up, pass the freaking ball.
Yeah, that right there. And then also with 22 seconds left. Randall kept the ball and tried to penetrate from the top of the key and took a fadeaway shot. If he was going to get the shot, he should have. You had enough time to initiate the offense, get the ball moving. Do your little handoff stuff. And then if the ball comes back to you, get a shot. I thought that was a bad shot.
I thought
especially from a guy who wasn't he wasn't hitting.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't hitting. I thought that was a bad shot. But these guys are in in development up here too, just learning and understanding those situations. That's where Derrick Rose hopefully can come in.
Derrick Rose hit off the
be able to provide that
ball. He caught the rebound and hit that fadeaway or like that leaner on the baseline. I'm like, dogs. When you look back, it's like he could have hit that he would have torched Tyler Hero 1-on-1. Like you can't put Jimmy Butler probably would have been on him, but same as Tyler Hero, he's torching him with that. So but again, RJ is like, you just see it's like, it's his experience. And I would love to have these guys have this experience in the playoffs. Have a few big games, big wins here, some big wins here and there. Get the experience. I think it could elevate these guys. But we'll see. But guys, look, it's been great. This has been a great episode, man. All the callers, Isaiah, Mr. J Boogie, Anthony Dunbar as always, man. All the people in the chat, Ronald Miller, Carlos Martinez, Calm is I can't pronounce it. Calm, whatever. Thesis Thomas, Derek Grant, all you guys, man. I'm not gonna call the names. Cully, suits all you guys, man. Sim, are you gonna have a show tonight for Front Stoop?
Nah, not tonight. Taking a little break on it tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night when that movie comes out. That can't think of the name of it, but I'm gonna talk about that in the track list from it, stuff like that.
Which movie? Who's in it?
The
can't
think of the name of it.
Black Panther.
Julius and the Black Messiah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk. So I'm gonna watch that when it comes out. It comes out at midnight, I believe. I think it's gonna be ready. I'm gonna watch that. Then after I do the Knicks stuff tomorrow, then I'm gonna do a little show on that. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Have an English actor for an African American figure.
Anyway, well, they're doing that with all the roles. Yeah, all the roles today. It's crazy.
He was in freaking Get Out, and he. All right, this is my ignorance. Ignorantly, I would have loved to have seen Mike Epps in that movie, but he's too older and he's too. Mike Epps is a comedian. You can't put Mike Epps in that serious type of role, even though Mike Epps as the friend. Or Mike Epps as the other dude who was there who got
right the cop dude.
I think he would have done it because Mike Epps is he's
the other dude that got kidnapped. Yeah.
Because the Kaluuya guy is just kind of like, okay. It's like, all right, that's not how Black Americans would have been like, yo, some like they would have been something more to, hey, this is but
I guess that was the point of him being in the sunken place.
But he was in a sunken place.
He was like that.
In a sunken place. Like
no. The other dude, the other black dude, was in the sunken place.
Right. Well, no, right.
He was somebody else's. He was actually a white dude somewhere.
Right. And by the way, there are two endings to the movie. There's one they I've showed the good ending,
Yeah.
bad one where he's locked up, but good movie by the way. But definitely, I need to be on HBO Max too. Because they're releasing that. They're releasing another movie since all the theaters are closed. But guys, be subscribed to the Front Stoop. He'll be on tomorrow. Are you doing it? You'll be doing it after.
I'll be recording it and then posting it, so they will just get the notification.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
because versus TV, I got some words for versus TV. No, not versus Apple TV.
They shut you down.
Apple did, yeah. And I'm like, because I'm doing the versus battles, right? And back the Jeezy, the Jeezy and Gucci battle, did the normal show. Everything comes from Instagram, but of course they have a sponsorship with Apple, and Apple comes on and asks YouTube to take down the video, saying that I put up their video, and I didn't put up their video. I did it from Instagram, just like everybody else. So I did a copyright. I did a notification to YouTube and said, "Hey, this is not Apple's product. This is from Instagram, the free version from Instagram." And there's numerous other people that have this version out there. I'm submitting this copyright notification, and YouTube wrote back and said, "We are unsure." Because we can't confirm that this is, like the Instagram version. I'm like, how can you not confirm it? It has the whole Instagram chat next to it. Apple doesn't do that. Like, it has the video and then it has a chat, where everybody in Instagram is, talking about, what's going on. With Apple, it's in full HD, covers the full screen like you're watching it on television. Totally different, and I'm like, so they took it down, so I can't stream for a little while.
Wow.
Because of that, and they won't, they won't reverse it. And I emailed Apple and was like, "Hey, this isn't your stuff," and I got no response. I'm going to try it again.
Of course, the
crazy.
Their customer services are absolute trash. So guys, please, but look out for also NBK. You'll probably be doing a pregame coach's corner tomorrow. So guys,
we'll do a game preview tomorrow about 3:30.
So guys, please be ready for that. It can be kind of tough trying to get to Sim's chat since he closed it off. He closed it off for his select members now.
Yeah, man. When I get to 9, I get up to like 9. Because I can't control everybody. I got to close it off. You know what I'm saying? And I know Guillermo wanted to get in yesterday, but I text you and said, you can come in because everybody had come out, but I had to get Prince in there because he was doing his thing on Westchester, and I had all these people in there.
Suit to the Prince,
you know what I'm saying? So, but
and also, guys,
tomorrow.
If you want to be a believer, I'll be covering at 3 p.m. That's where you. So be subscribed to both NBK and but check out for both NBK because I'll be doing the summer league game for Kuminga and Jalen Green, and obviously open up another tab for a Sims NBK coverage of both I guess Coach Corner and the pregame. And also look out for the post game. I'll be doing a watch along again tomorrow. But guys, thank you for joining us, man. Suto, you guys, man. Peace, salute. God bless.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate it. Peace.